Hey friends, it's Carla from Creative Love Affair, and I'm here today with the Scrap and Stamp blog. And it's a monthly blog hop that we've been doing, and I've been helping out to guest design for this Canadian shop. Today we're using the Sizzix Tim Holtz side order. These are really cute. They have a little mini embossing folder, and then you get dies with them, and there's several different themes that you can have. Today I'm using the love themed one, and this cute little embossing folder, it is created so you can slip it on the bottom of a tag. Now these go wonderfully with the side kick, which comes with a tag die, but I don't have that, so I'm just using it in my cuddle bag, and I've cut down a manila tag to fit this little embossing folder. But this would be fun to add any kind of embossing elements to your projects. You see one side has the raised hearts and one has the indented ones, and you could use either side. I grabbed some Lawn Fawn watercolor paper, and I'm just going to cut out all the little die cut elements, choose some different colors. Now you could of course use this for Valentine's, but I'm creating a wedding card, and it's a Z fold card fold, which is kind of a fun, neat fold. So I wanted to use all these elements on my wedding card and just show you that you can definitely use this for more than just Valentine's Day. I find that I often use hearts, and I use love all the time, and so I'm not going to have any problem using these, and the little envelope is super cute. So there's the dies. Now this is just a thin cardstock. You could cut it out of paper, or you could cut it out of a thicker cardstock, and you can see with the little envelope it actually embosses the little folds there, so you have an edge to fold on. This is the heart, and it cuts the heart box and the bow, but you could use those elements separately. I'm going to do some embossing powder on my tag, so I've rubbed some Versamark on top, and I'm using some Emerald Creek Northern Lights embossing powder. And I am not going for super clean look, so I'm just brushing off with a paintbrush some of the extra. Now Erica decided she would come help, and so she's holding the tag steady for me there. And we heated the embossing powder, and now we're going to spray on some Tattered Angels mists in a few different colors to coordinate. And Erica's trying to help me spray, so you can see that it is going a little bit crazy, but that's the way we roll, so I may as well go with it. So we've sprayed it all, and we're just kind of mixing it a bit, and then adding the paper to dab it off, and then heating that tag up just to dry the mist. And now I'm adding some Distress Oxide inks from Tim Holtz, and just to add a little more color around the edges. And we've got the Mermaid Lagoon and the Cracked Pistachio. I really am loving this glass matte, which is new out from Creativation this year, and the ink blends really nicely, and then I just give it a mist afterwards. And here I'm showing you how I store my sponges for my applicator. I just add a little bit of Velcro, a little dot of Velcro, and pop on my sponge. And here I grabbed some distress crayons, and I'm going around the edge of my tag just to give it a little bit of a darker border, and just blending that in with my finger. And you saw how nicely that ink wiped off. I just use a spray bottle filled with some water and mist that and wipe it with a cloth. Now I'm using some seam binding ribbon and some more mists from Tattered Angels, and I just spray it and crinkle that up and then set it aside to dry. Now here's the little envelope. I'm doing some ink from Distress Ink sponging around the edge, and then I'm going to fold it in. And I found that I needed to fold it a little tiny bit past where those fold marks are, so that it all connected. And the neat thing about this little envelope is that you can actually open it up and use it open. Now I cut 4 different layers of the Love die cut out of cardstock. The top layer is my colored one, and it ends up looking like a chipboard Love die cut, which I really love. I love it. And here you can see the dimension on it. You could add more if you want a little thicker, but a really cool, really quick and easy way to add dimension. Now I'm cutting the double Z fold card, and I cut that at 5.5 by 11, and then I'm going to score that at 2 3/4 and 5.5, and that's along the long edge. So basically you're folding that in half, and then you're going to fold it backwards on the front of the card. So that's going to give you your first Z fold. So pretty easy. And then for the second smaller piece, which is going to be attached inside, that's cut at 3 3/4, and it's going to be 9 1/4 inches long. And I'm just using a thick cardstock, and then I'm scoring it again the same 2 3/4 and 5.5. And now you can see I kind of flipped it around because your square that's 5.5 is going to be in the front, and then you're going to fold the smaller edge toward the back, and that's how you're going to connect those. I'm using the Kaisercraft Island Escape paper pad. Really love the papers in this, and even though it is kind of an island beachy theme, I thought it really matched the colors that I was using nicely. So I'm using some pool colored green cardstock, and I cut that first one at 2 5/8 by 5 3/8, and then a patterned paper piece at 2.5 and 5 1/4. So basically I'm just cutting these, I'm at 1/8 of an inch smaller each time and layering them on. And you can see I just put the dimensions on the bottom there. So you've got your first piece done, and then your middle piece here, same thing. The green cardstock's going to go on, and then a smaller piece of pattern paper. And if you wanted a little bit larger of a white edge showing, you could make it a little bit smaller, but I have listed the dimensions that I have used. I edged the edges of the green paper with just a Distress Ink in a blue. I think it was the Mermaid Lagoon, but just in the Distress Ink, not the oxide. And then I used the tea dye on the pattern paper. I used this Your Next stamp to stamp the congratulations, and I like the way it has a bunch of smaller stamps and different sentiments that you can use with that congrats stamp. So this is how it's going to be placed, and I'm just kind of eyeballing it to get in the center, and then using a pencil to mark the spots lightly. I add some glue and then press that down, and then you're going to shut the card, and basically I'm just adding some glue on the outside edge of that smaller square. Press it down and then open the card up and make sure that it presses flat both ways, and then you'll be all connected. That seam binding ribbon is dry now, so I'm adding it to the tag. I really like adding a coordinated ribbon. And I grabbed one of the paper dolls from the Tim Holtz paper doll collection, and I added a little bit of color to the bride's bouquet and a couple other spots, and I'm just using some pop dots and adding them onto the front. So here's the cute embellishments. I made a few. I used some foam dots on a couple, and then on that green one I just glued it flat, but I used distress inks around the edges to give them just some dimension and some highlights. Here's the adorable little envelopes, and then there's that love die cut. So I glued on the yellow envelope, and then I'm just layering on a pink one, and then layering on the love die using some tacky glue. It dries clear and it holds well, so that's why I like to use it. Now I'm adding this cute little calendar, and if you're using it for Valentine's you can add it the 14, but I wanted to leave it and put a sticker on it from the Tim Holtz stickers there that I just showed you. So the XOXO. Now I'm making a little paper clip, and these would be really cute to use in your planners as well. And I'm just adding some matte medium glue and a little bit of paper on the backing just to create a nice finish. And then I add some sequins to the card, and I grabbed this Tattered Angels chalkboard chalk, and I filled my old Wink of Stella pen up with this, and I am really loving it. It is a little bit white, and it has a very nice shimmer to the liquid, so it works great in this shimmer pen, or you can put it in a water pen just to add some really shimmery details. And then I grabbed some glossy accents, and I'm going to add that onto the love just to make it look like an enamel chipboard sticker. So here you can see everything's all finished up, and I really am happy with the way this turned out and all the glossy and shiny elements to this. And I really love these side orders, and I can't wait for you to see all the other stops on the blog and see what they're doing with the other side order elements. So have an awesome day. I'd love for you to like and subscribe. Go to the link in the blog to check out the blog hop, and there is going to be prizes, and it's always a lot of fun. So have an awesome day, and keep crafting. Bye.